This morning it is raining outside and windy because of Hurricane Ian coming in our general direction. Adam is home from school, so he made pumpkin scones, low sugar, creamy coffee, and I'm in my studio painting some sleeping owls while it is pretty nasty out there. Hello everybody, it's good to see you again. This is a blustery studio day. The remnants of Hurricane Ian are coming through well south of us, but it's such a big storm. We're getting high winds and heavy rain and storm surge, that kind of stuff. So my husband's off work today and we're home doing creative things. What have I done today? I did some painting. Let me show you what I'm painting. I've got an idea for another book. I don't know if I showed you any of these. These are woodland animals. It's kind of silly. I don't know. I started by painting my cat, Leo. Can you see that without the there? No, that's better. I painted him asleep, and I loved the full busy border. That was fun. And so then I think maybe I started with the fox. There's a little fox. Oh yes, I did, because I already had this border and I just stuck the fox in the middle. He wasn't that good. He looks a little bit like a fox. Anyway, then maybe I did the bunny rabbits asleep. I like that one a lot. I love the deep red in there. And then I did a little fawn asleep in the grass. Then, for some reason, I did bunny rabbits again, but this time they had their eyes open. I'm not really sure why I did that. And there's more apples and berries in this one. I think I was looking at some Brambly Hedge illustrations from Jill Barklam and was inspired, and so I did that. Then the one that I finished this morning is a pair of sleeping owls in a pine tree. And so as I've been doing these, it's kind of been coming together as maybe a little children's book, about like a bedtime book about sleeping animals. And so I'm thinking about doing that as I paint these. I'll try to do woodland animals, maybe in pairs, but although the fawn is just one fawn, so we'll see. Then I decided to spin some, and I'm almost done spinning this green stuff. Now this is the last rolag. So this was some green that I didn't like. It's too piney. It's kind of a bright. It's not a subtle green. I don't know. I struggle with green. It's not my favorite color. I almost never wear it. So here's the first bobbin I did. I was going to apply it together, and I'm about to weigh it and find out, because this one looked like it's bigger. So I wanted to stop when I still had one rolag left so I could add it to whichever bobbin is less. So let's go ahead and weigh these and see what we think. Okay. Here's the first one. I've got it set on grams. 96 grams. Here's the second one. 89. See, this one looks so much fatter, but actually, yeah, it's going to need that extra one. That'll make it 95. Okay, well, I thought I had weighed it before, and I was right. Yeah. Now, the thing that happened with these two bobbins is that I changed the way that I spin a little bit between doing this one and doing this one, because I had a little session couple days ago with my spinning mentor, Lynn. She's an amazing spinner, and she is a phenomenal knitter. I'm just astounded at what she produces. And I was telling her about my sweater vest that I'm making and how some of the singles and even the doubles were hard and ropey and not pleasant to touch. They didn't have any spring. She had had that trouble too. She said what she did was, before she plied it, when she had a hard ropey single like that, she spun it in the opposite direction to loosen it up, and it worked, and it didn't unspin it too much. if I ever run across that again, I think I'm going to do that. But hopefully I can avoid it. I do think this first bobbin I spun really thin. I think I had an attitude of the thinner the better if I can get it really thin. I'm not really in any danger of spinning it at a lace weight. So on this one I thought, no, if I want it to have some loft and some softness, because it is merino, then I need to spin it a little bit thicker. And not allow, really, it's not the thickness, it's just how much twist do you allow into it before you feed it in. So I'm trying to not allow it to twist up so much. So that might be the reason why this one looks so much fatter, but actually this one weighs less. Anyway, I also did some knitting yesterday. Let me show you what I knitted, because it was pretty fun. Okay, after my little meeting with Lynn, she brought so many beautiful things over that she had knitted with her own homespun. And I decided to make a little cowl. And this was from some Yarn Bee yarn. Hang on, where did it go? I've got another skein of it. Okay, look at this. Yarn Bee, which means it comes from Hobby Lobby. It's called Effortless. It's super bulky, and it cost $1.99 for a skein, which is a really good deal. Now it's just, oh, it's an acrylic alpaca blend. Okay, so it has some softness. It also sheds on you while you knit. And I wanted a cowl, and I started looking around at patterns over on Ravelry, and some of them look complicated. It's like, I don't want to do that fancy knitting. So I just did this cowl in an alternating 2 purl and 2 knit, and I did it in the round, okay, on circular needles in the round, so I didn't have to go back and forth. And that was okay. And that was kind of fun. But you know, I hate to admit it, that kind of knitting can get a little boring. So finally, I found this other one that did look complicated because it had cabling on it. It was from a place online called Paulina's Blog. It's a Mobius, no, it's not a Mobius scarf. But this one, this one has cables on it. Isn't that fun? It's really super bulky. It's so interesting because you start with 81 cast on, and then after a few rows, you add 20 stitches to the work. And then you do your cabling, and you would think that would just make it look bizarre, but it doesn't look like it expands that much. It has kind of a rounded shape, but I just love the cables. They're not hard at all, especially in soft, smooth, bulky yarns. Really, really simple. So I got that done yesterday, and like I showed you, and that was all from one skein. Okay, I got 2 of those out of one skein for $1.99. So I'm going to use the second skein in the same way, although there's another pattern. It was on Ravelry. It's called Stone Leaves, one word. It's also a cowl. I think it might take closer to the whole skein, but I think I'm going to make that one next. It was very pretty too, lots of purling, very bumpy. And the other thing I did a couple days ago, Lynn advised me to do this, and I don't regret it, but this is the hat that I made from the Lions brand Fisherman's wool. It was really big, and I just didn't like all these lines. Although Lynn's felted wool, it has a lot of stitch definition in it. That doesn't bother her. I don't know why I'm so finicky. I shouldn't be so finicky about that. It's really ridiculous. Anyway, I decided to felt it again, and boy, did I have to fight with it. And it is smaller, although I have kind of a big head. So hopefully it'll fit somebody else a little better. It is pretty cute. Then the other hat that I made with Patton's Classic Wool. Now it's looking pretty cute. I will admit I like it. The color is kind of a gray, but it has a slight blue look to it. When I felted it, one part of the brim felted well and this side stayed large. And when I felted it a second time, it continued to do that. So I just decided I would make that a brim. Okay, a front brim, like a baseball cap kind of brim. It's super cute. It's like a top hat, but it's really small. Like, I could never wear that. That's going to be for a child or a woman with a very small head. Actually, it might be a woman with an average head, since mine's kind of big. But what this teaches me is that I haven't, see, look at the, you can see the holes in that when I spin it. Look at those. I guess that's all right. I think that's where the reduction was. What I'm realizing is that I don't have a very predictable way to do hats yet. My first couple turned out really well, and so I thought that I thought hats were easy. And now I realize that they're not. I've sold a couple. I still have this one. I still have the blue one, which was my first. That was my very first hat. It's a little more flared. It does fit me. It's not a, it doesn't come down over your ears. And then this is another one that turned out pretty small and would need to be a child's hat. That's what Lynn said. She said, well, if you felt it again and it's small, then it'll be a child's hat. And I said, I'm going to have all children's hats. Anyway, so they'll all go to the farmer's market and we'll see what people make of them. But I am excited about those cowls. Quite excited. I'll put a link to the cabled cowl from Paulina's blog in the description notes so that you can go find it if you like, because when I clicked on the Ravelry download, it took me to her blog instead of downloading it onto, oh, somebody's clawing on my leg. Come here. Oh, somebody's getting quite big. Yes, say hello. This is Leo. Hello, Leo. He knows his name. He is such a good mouser. I'm so happy with him. We're not going to have any more mice surviving in our house. He's such a sweet boy. Sometimes if you do this in the evening when he's riled up, he'll bite you and scratch you. Right now, he's quite tame. Quite tame. Doesn't he have the most beautiful eyes? Oh, sorry about your leg. It's a very rainy day. I might turn the camera out so that you can look at the remnants of Hurricane Ian coming through. These are just the outer bands. We're not going to suffer anything. It's probably a tropical storm by now, or almost. And we're well north of the storm. Well, that's pretty much what I've been up to yarn-wise. That and taking care of kitty cats and doggy dogs. Well, now that I'm done spinning my singles in the green, I remembered that my third bobbin, which I now need to ply those onto, was full of this acrylic thick roving in a gray, it's called pewter color, that I got tired of spinning. It was just kind of boring. It was smooth and stuff. Anyway, just not as fun. So I just took that bobbin off, even though I had tons more of it to spin, still have tons more. And so now I have to get it off that bobbin, which I really need to do. So I am taking it off onto what they would call a bracelet ply, and I know it looks so funny, and I've got another video showing how to do that, and I'll put that up in an iCard. But you wrap it around your hand in such a way that you leave an opening in the middle. And eventually it'll be this big mound. This one really will be. And I'll pull it off of these fingers, and it will basically be a center pull ball. Okay? which is useful. So this technique is useful for a bracelet ply if you want to ply from your hand and have this end and this end and ply them together. And I could do that if I wanted to. I think really I just want to get it off the bobbin. But yes, it's also useful for getting something off of a bobbin and putting it into a center pull ball. And then after a while, you just end up looping this. I tend to do it a little tighter than is comfortable on my fingers, I'm sorry to say. And so you just go like this, and eventually your fingers kind of bow down under the pressure. Anyway, I won't keep you here for all this. But then I'll be able to ply the green things that I also don't like that well. Here you go. Looks like I have a wounded hand. Pull my sleeve down. When you do this, be sure that you don't do it so tight you can't get it off of your wrist. Okay, so the first thing you do is emancipate your middle fingers. And then hopefully when you've done that, this is the tightest one I've ever done, but I have very thin kind of hands, so I'm able to get it off. Now here's, I think that was my, pretty sure that was my original. You really want to keep your hands in the middle. You want to keep that core intact. Yes, there's that one. And the other one's on the edge somewhere. So if I wanted to ply these together, these two ends together, and do a double ply from a bracelet, I could get this back on my wrist, or put it on something else if I wanted to, and just ply from that. But right now I'm going to take a loose piece of yarn and just put it through the middle and tie it so that I keep it intact. Okay, so now I've got one green bobbin here and one green bobbin here. And I'll take my two little singles and I'll tie them together through this loop that goes onto my leader, and I'll ply them together onto the third bobbin. And I won't take you through all that rigmarole, but I'll show you a little. Now because I spun to the right, I'm going to ply to the left, and so when I do this I'm going to make sure that my wheel is turning to the left. And plying is so much faster. You just have to make sure that you don't have too much twist and that you have enough twist. It's a little hard to tell on this yarn because it's a dark green against a dark green. See those yarns? They're really, like, you want them at a 45-degree angle, but no more than that, and a little less is not bad. So that's pretty good. That's what I'm shooting for. Well, I'm done with my plying, almost. Sure enough, one of them's shorter than the other. Let me show you. Okay, so here's my leader from the left hand bobbin, and here this one still has quite a bit. Let me show you. Look how much is still left on that bobbin. Now some people just go ahead and cut off that single and they wad it up into a ball. I used to keep singles like that, but it was kind of frustrating to have this extra single that you bothered to spin and you can't use it. So I'm going to use my bracelet ply method again. I'm going to go have some lunch right now actually, but when I come back I'm going to put this on my bracelet, on my wrist as a bracelet, and then I'm going to double ply that end. Okay, and I'll show you when I get done. All right. Okay, I got the bracelet ply done. I got every little bit of that double plied onto this bobbin. I think it's looking a little better than it used to. I don't know. I'm eager to knit this up into something. This is almost a full bobbin. So it'll give me a decent sized hank. I could probably make a pair of fingerless gloves out of this or something. And I'd love to see what it looks knitted up, because I've been so mean to this green fiber. I haven't liked it, and I refuse to put it in my other sweater vest project. So maybe it'll win me over. All right. So we're on to the nitty knotty next, and then we'll steam it and thwack it and dry it, and maybe it'll look prettier then. So I just put that yarn onto my nitty knotty from the bobbin, and now the next thing I need to do is secure it before I take it off of here so it doesn't become a terrible mess. You want to secure it with some of this random yarn. Not too tightly. And I'll do this in 4 spots. Okay, so here's the 4th one. And then I'll just slip it off of the nitty knotty. Okay. Yeah. All right, now I'm going to go put this into the steamer, and it's going to get hot and moist, which will make all of these little fibers loft up and get a little fluffy and softer. And then I'm going to thwack it, which means I'm going to beat it a few times on the door jamb, and then I'm going to let it hang dry. That's supposed to set the twist. Now, some of this spinning is not the best. It looks like some old spinning I used to do. Oh well, it is what it is.